In section 9.4, we're looking at line graphs as well as pie charts. So line graphs are often used when we're depicting graphs and kind of showing how they change over time. And so in this graph here, you can see we're looking at daily high temperatures in Nelson for the first week in September. And so you can see on Sunday, then the daily high was 25 degrees Celsius. That sounds pretty good right now. I'm recording this in January. And then you've got like Thursday, things have fallen a bit. So the high is down to 19 and so on. So what was the high temperature on Friday? Well, if we look at Friday, we can just go straight across to see that it was 23 degrees. And this is degrees Celsius, as you can see from that axis title here. So 23 degrees Celsius. Okay, now we want to know the mean high temperature for that week. Well, that hasn't been given to us, so we're going to have to use our skills in calculating a mean. We know the mean is going to be all of the data points divided by the number of data points. So Sunday is 25, and then we've got Monday 28. We're just going to add these all up. Tuesday's 26. Wednesday's 22. Thursday is 19. Friday was 23. And Saturday is 27. Okay, so we're going to add that all up. We're going to divide by the number of data points, which is 7. And so what do we get? So make sure you add up that numerator and then hit the equal sign. So the calculator knows that that total is getting divided by 7. So when I hit the equal sign, I get 170. Then I divide it by 7. And it doesn't tell me what to round to, so I'm going to round to the nearest tenth here, which would be 24.3 degrees Celsius. Okay. The next point is about extrapolation. So you'll be asked to extrapolate, in other words, to predict the future. And just a word of caution, that's not always reliable. As you can imagine, sometimes, trends change. So an existing trend may completely change by your future value. But often it's good to kind of look ahead and see what seems likely. So it's fairly easy to extrapolate if the graph has an obvious tendency. Again, that doesn't mean it's going to be reliable, but it tells you the tendency. And what you want to do is use a ruler if you've got a straight line tendency so that you can predict the next values. So for example, here we've got a graph on healthcare costs. You can see they've increased over time. And the rate of increase has gone up in the last 10 years of this graph. But what we know is that the rate of increase over this last 10-year period seems to be pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the same rate. It's got kind of like a constant slope there. So if we wanted to predict the amount that will be spent in year 2015, well, that's going to be over here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue this trend line. So I'm just going to take a ruler to continue a line that's not the same slope. So something like this. Okay, and when I do that, 2015 is going to be somewhere here. And you can see that's just above the 3,000 mark on my y-axis. I would say it's maybe at, I don't know, maybe 3,300. And then if you look at that y-axis, you'll see that's in billions. So 3,300 billion. And that's going to be approximately in 2015.